Texas Tech University celebrates the grand opening of a new state-of-the-art facility. Plus, a switch is flipped on a favorite Texas Tech tradition. We'll bring you the latest in the Red and Black recap, and some Red Raiders look back on a turning point in history 50 years later. This is Texas Tech Today Monthly. Since beginning in 2005, the Burkhart Center for Autism Education and Research has been a major force in offering support and resources to those affected by autism and their families. The center's new facility, which opened in November, will only add to the program's continued growth and mission.
Special occasion as we recognize this very, very special center. It's a national center. It puts us on the cutting edge as far as the activities related to autism research.
Texas Tech leaders and the Burkhart family were on hand to cut the ribbon on the new state-of-the-art facility located just east of the Education Building. The new building offers more than 28,000 square feet of clinical facilities, research, and support space, including the new Behavior Clinic and Transition Academy, which focuses on developing life and job skills with students who have graduated high school.
This building and the people in this building are touching a lot of lives.
Jim and Jerry Lynn Burkhart started the center as a resource place for individuals affected by autism, like their grandson Colin and their families.
Burkhart family, in their great generosity and with the fruit of their very hard work, have made possible the state-of-the-art Center for Education and Research on Autism, not only for Colin, but for all the families of West Texas and the nation. And for this reason, the Burkhart name will become synonymous with true excellence.
Every December, tens of thousands of people crowd onto the Texas Tech campus for the annual Carol of Lights celebration. But behind the lights and the greenery are months of work and preparation to make sure everything is just right at that one magical moment.
We have very big spools of lights. We store them off campus at a off-site facility that we call Grantham in a specialized trailer that's just for putting up Christmas lights. They're only in the trailer though for about 7 months out of the year. 5 months we're either putting them up or taking them down, or people are enjoying them.
But putting up the decorations for a winter wonderland starts at the beginning of fall.
We try to start the last week of September. We get everything out of the trailer and start putting bulbs on the wires, and we always start with civil engineering that very first week, and usually it takes us about 3 days to get everything out and the first building up.
It takes crews nearly 2 months to get 18,000 lights on 15 different buildings. And though they may look the same with the traditional red, white, and orange, there is something different about these lights.
We've been phasing in new LED lights over the course of the last 4 years, and we are about 80% saturation on LEDs right now. So we have about 2 more years left to go to phase the rest of them in.
Now, besides the lights, there are 2 other big components to the festive display: the Christmas tree near the Broadway entrance and the wreath at the Physics and Geosciences building.
Well, the tree itself is 35 feet tall, and it's probably about 20 years old, and it's got right at about 1,500 lights on it itself. Now, the wreath, we think, is about 25 feet in diameter. Now, since we use live greenery on it each year, it kind of varies in size.
The greenery for the wreath is grown right here on campus at the University Greenhouse. Once everything is ready and the celebration day is near, the crews turn their attention from setting up to lighting up.
Testing is a really big deal because when you flip the switch at the ceremony, you want to make sure that everything comes on like it's supposed to. We do a lot of different checks. As you finish each building, we take and do spot checks to make sure all the circuits are working like they're supposed to.
Now, the decorations will stay up till the first week in January, and what took crews 3 months to put up will only take them about a month to take down. For Texas Tech Today, I'm Lacey Nobles.
This is Texas Tech University.
We inspire.
We discover.
We succeed.
We ride. We share our traditions
and our innovations.
We are champions.
We work hard
and play louder.
We are many things.
But wherever we go
and whatever we do.
Every day.
Every day.
Todos los días.
Every day.
Every day, we are Red Raiders.
Just recently, Chancellor Kenton Hance handed out some very distinguished awards to some very deserving recipients. And this tops our Red and Black recap. Hance recognized the recipients of the 13th Annual Chancellor's Council Distinguished Faculty Awards.
This is a fun event. The Chancellor's Council for the last 13 years has been giving outstanding awards for people that are doing outstanding service, teaching and research, and this year we're adding commercialization.
These awards are the most prestigious honors granted to faculty members throughout the Texas Tech University system. There were 18 recipients, 8 from Texas Tech, 6 from Texas Tech Health Sciences Center, 2 from the Health Sciences Center in El Paso, and 2 faculty members from Angelo State. Texas Tech was recently ranked 31st among four-year universities in the Military Times 2014 Best for Vets list. The university was selected among 650 institutions. This is the third time this year Texas Tech has been recognized for its military-friendly efforts. The university further honored those in the military with a wreath-laying ceremony on Veterans Day. Ryan Van Dusen with Military and Veterans Programs and Senior Vice President Dr. Juan Munoz placed a wreath on the monument at Memorial Circle. Texas Tech then participated in the Remembrance National Roll Call, an event held to reflect and raise awareness about the sacrifices made by veterans. Switching gears now to good news for the peddlers on campus. Texas Tech has been named a bicycle-friendly university. This is the first time the school has been recognized by the League of American Bicyclists. Texas Tech also hosted the largest Southwest Alliance of College and University Residence Hall, or SWACR, conference with about 600 attendees. Delegates from Louisiana, Arkansas, Texas, and schools affiliated with Mexico participated in the 3-day-long event. The conference is designed to promote the exchange of ideas about residence hall living. And the university's meat judging team won its 11th national championship at the American Meat Science Association's International Meat Judging Contest in Dakota City, Nebraska. This is the third consecutive year that Texas Tech has won the title. And the researchers at the Institute of Environmental and Human Health, or TIE, recently received a large grant from the Rolling Plains Quail Research Foundation. TIE received the $706,000 grant to study how parasitic worms may be affecting the bird's recent population decline on the Texas plains.
I remember.
And I remember.
I remember.
The President of the United States is dead.
And I remember. And I remember.
November 22nd, 1963 in Dallas. A day full of smiles and promise turns tragic. But even after 50 years, memories of that day remain clear when news broke of President John F. Kennedy's assassination.
It was my second year to teach, and I was teaching journalism at Lubbock High School. And I had this one student, and she was dating a guy from Monterey, and she was always late coming back. Well, on that day, she came in late, and I said, "Where have you been? Why are you late?" And she said, "Well, the president's been shot." And I thought, well, that's a little different. Obviously, there wasn't much else that happened at school that day because people were, just in a trance almost over it. It was such a tragedy.
I was at Memorial Middle School in Kingsville, Texas, and very clearly remember walking down the hall, and one of my classmates came out. She was crying. She was traveling down the same hall, and she had said, "The president has been shot."
I remember what room I was in at Bledsoe Hall when John F. Kennedy was assassinated. Crowds gathered around, people were talking about it, and it was real hushed, and there were a few people that were very emotional and shed some tears, and it was one of those days you just couldn't believe it happened.
I was in Northwest Indiana, and I was in a senior high school and leaving the room where the teachers ate lunch to go back to my class of juniors in English. And as I exited the room, I bumped into the principal who said, "The president's been shot." And it was a staggering, sobering silence.
When I was a young man, my father owned a service station right down from Hobby Airport. And JFK was coming into town the night before the assassination to Houston. And I remember seeing the president go by in the motorcade. My mother screamed, "Hi, Jack!" And he and Mrs. Kennedy turned around. They were only about 10 or 15 feet away from us. And they both smiled very big and they waved at us. And I can still see that vision in my mind's eye. And they were gone.
I was on my way to the National Guard Armory on that Friday when the news came over the radio that President Kennedy had been shot and then subsequently that he had died. And so it turned out to be sort of fortuitous for me that I was already on my way to the National Guard Armory and in uniform, because after that, the entire National Guard unit was called in because no one knew exactly what President Kennedy's death meant.
My father was highly involved with the political scene of South Texas. At that point in time, the Kennedy Mission on Civil Rights meant so much. I think the thing that I remember most about that, and that's probably where I have my clearest memories, my father pointing out that it may be that the promise is lost, the fear that it was lost. And he had grown up in a period of time when there was very strong Jim Crow activity in the state. This young man, this young president, was bringing us something fresh, a different perspective. And with his death, the question becomes, is it gone?
And so it was a very important and critical day in my life just to see the president, and then of course the next day to feel like you had some connection with this event that literally changed U.S. and world history.
None of us had lived through an assassination. We read about Lincoln, Garfield, those kinds of things, but none of us had actually ever experienced it. And for a president to actually be shot and killed was just such a traumatic and momentous event.
And I think that was the crux, not just the loss of a young and promising life, but also the loss of innocence.
I want to thank you for joining us for this edition of Texas Tech Today Monthly, and to see all the latest stories you can log on to today.ttu.edu. Until next time, I'm Lacey Nobles, and happy holidays.